we told you about Japan. Let me just give you one of the facts that we gave you there. Gun-related homicides in 2006, as an example, in the United States was 10,225. In Japan, it was 2. Now, to be fair, there's 127 million people in Japan. We have over 300 million, so you'd really have to triple the Japanese number per capita. That would be 6. We had over 10,000. Why? Because Japan very tightly regulates guns, and so does Australia. Now, why does Australia do it? Because they had a shooting in 1996 where 35 people got killed in a resort town, and people were furious about it, and they decided they were going to take action. Now, in America, when you talk about taking action after one of these tragedies, the people who politicize the event, that's the NRA, say, don't do anything. Don't do anything, because that would politicize it. No, not doing anything, maintaining the status quo, also politicizes it, and it does it on purpose, so we never fix the problem, right? Now, did they listen to that crap in Australia? No. You know how quickly they passed gun control legislation after that massacre? 12 days. Not now, not now, don't talk about it now, it's too early, too soon. 12 days. Well, how did it work? Well, first of all, what were the measures taken? Now, by American standards, these are draconian. Rapid-fire rifles and shotguns were banned, gone. Gun owner licensing was tightened across the board, significantly so. The remaining firearms were registered to uniform national standards. Of course, here in America, the NRA and the nut jobs on the right would say, oh, dictatorial government, oh my God, they're actually registering my guns. Well, if you're not going to commit any problems with it, what's the issue, right? More, they also did federally funded gun buybacks, spent over $500 million buying back guns. And there was also large-scale voluntary surrenders of the weapons as well. You know what they did? They collected and destroyed more than 1 million firearms, approximately 1/3 of the nation's stock. Well, obviously, now that there was so many less guns in Australia and new guns were shotguns, etc., were banned, you were going to get more violence, according to the right wing, right? Because the guns protect you. They are for self-defense. More guns equals less violence, right? Well, let's look at the numbers. The risk of dying by gunshot fell by 50% after 1996. So now there's been a long time since then, 16 years. Fell by 50%. All right. How many mass shootings have there been since then? 0. In the 15 years before that, there were 13. It's not like Australia didn't have mass shootings. They had 13 mass shootings before the law, 0 in the 16 years after. 0. How about the national gun homicide rate? Well, it remains only 30 times lower than in the United States. Here's what gun control does. It works. When you do gun control, you have less gun-related deaths. You have less deaths. It's obvious. It's true in Japan. It's true in the UK. It's true in dozens of countries. And it's also a great example in Australia. The only difference between Australia and us is that they actually cared that their citizens were massacred. They actually wanted to do something about it. They wanted to fix it. And apparently their politicians were not nearly as bought off as our politicians are. You think the NRA represents gun members? No, they violate the members' wishes all the time. A great percentage of NRA members say there should be reasonable, sane gun restrictions. The NRA says no. Why? Because they don't work for their members. They work for the gun manufacturers who make money off of killing us. In Australia, it was a conservative Prime Minister, John Howard, who passed that law. One of the most conservative in Australian history. But they passed it in 12 days because they actually care about their own citizens and they don't want them to die in massacre after massacre. But our politicians don't do a damn thing because they're all corrupt, bought off. You could fill in the blank.